Hi, welcome back to the Daily Increment. I am Daniel Susser, Agile Coach and Educator, and today we're going to be starting the first episode in a series that is to complement Scrum on my fridge, and that is the Lean Startup on my cupboard. And we're going to be starting with the most basic idea, which is the difference between problem solution fit, product market fit, and scale. So I'm assuming that you're one of the people that during lockdown has thought, I've got an idea for a small business, for a side hustle, for something that might either replace my job, which I've either lost or I hate, or just something interesting to go on the side that you want to explore. And I think lockdown has been a time where lots of people have been doing that, at least from people I've been speaking to. And there's lots of really good techniques within the lean startup and agile world about how to build the right stuff, how to not spend too much money on an idea that was not going to work, and how to reduce the risk of the thing that you're doing. So that's going to be the aim of this series. But the first thing to start with is these 3 stages, and they go in order of what you should be looking at. And it goes like this. Problem solution fit is the first thing that you should be doing if you're trying to think of a business idea, if you've got a product or something that you think is a goer. And the reason this is worth looking at first is that if your website, your physical product, whatever it is, if that's not a solution to someone's problem, then no one's going to buy it. And that sounds quite basic, but a lot of people will jump much further ahead and think about scale or think about how to market their product really well without asking whether the product is something that is worth building. So problem solution fit is about saying, is the problem that I think is a problem real? Does it exist? Do people have these problems? Who has this problem? And is my solution, my thing that I'm trying to sell, is that a solution to the problem? And if you can answer that and you have good evidence that both the problem exists and that your solution is the solution to it, then you can move on to the next step, which is product market fit. And this is about how do you take the solution that you've created in step 1 and hopefully finessed and you're sure solves a problem, and how do you get that to market? How do you sell that to people? How do you reach them? How do you price it accordingly? How do you do all the things that make a viable business? And if you try and do this bit first without wondering if you fit, you might have a great marketing strategy for something that nobody wants, and then they won't pay you for it, and then it's a waste of time. So this is about cheap ways of finding out whether your thing is a good idea for a certain group, and then this is about whether you can sell it to them. And then the third one is scale. Once you've found an idea that is a problem, that's a solution to someone's problem, and can fit into a market and can be sold, then it's about how do you expand out and how do you make it even more. You don't have to scale if you don't want. If your product is a consultancy service where you want to work with individuals on a certain thing, let's say like if you're a life coach, then you might start with saying, I'm a life coach within a certain domain. I like to coach lawyers. I think lawyers have interesting problems. I want to coach lawyers. So firstly, you find out, do lawyers have the sort of problems that you think your life coaching is helpful for? And then you might work out, well, how do I market myself? Do I go in trade magazines or whatever? Or Lawyer Monthly and try and sell my wares as a life coach? You might not want to scale because you're like, actually, all I want to do is coach lawyers and help them, and that's fine. But if you're selling something that you do want to scale, it's important, that's where my hand goes. If you're selling something that you think you want to scale, it's important to hit these criteria first so that you don't try and scale something before you know that there's a market, and even more importantly, before you know that your product is a solution to someone's problem. Therein lieth and therein endeth the first lesson. We're going to be looking in more detail about how you ascertain whether you have problem solution fit and product market fit in later videos. We're going to be starting at this one because the better you can nail this one down, the earlier you can get this one sorted out, the easier it is to correct course when you realize that you're wrong. And all of startup life is about working out how you're wrong, in which way, and how you can correct it as soon as possible, as cheaply as possible. Subscribe there maybe if you want to get more of these videos, and otherwise see you at the next one.